Silver is now 85, 86 as I'm filming this in the West. That's $86 in America, London. The West are trying to say the silver price is $86. In the East, it's well over 100, 110, 120 in some parts. I mean, you can actually sell it for 140 in some places. They're so desperate for silver, so much that the demand is more than supply. So there is an arbitrage there. It is worth it, even to cover the fuel costs and all other costs. There's import charges. There's a lot of costs involved. But anybody can buy silver in the West for the fake price that the Americans are trying to say it is, $85 for an ounce. Now, I don't know what the minimum amount is to make it worth it, but it's going to be thousands of ounces. If you could buy thousands of ounces, maybe even tens of thousands of ounces in the West, cover the costs of fuel, transportation, get it to the East, you can sell it for over $100. The problem is, it's very hard to find it in quantity, very hard. There's a huge opportunity there. You could sell it for more in the East, either China, Japan, Singapore, all these countries. I think Japan seems to be the best one at the moment. Japan are paying $140 per ounce. If you can get silver to Japan, or if you've got silver in Japan, you can sell it for $140 per ounce. It's almost twice what the Americans say it is, $85 an ounce. Not quite twice, but almost. I mean, there's something massive going on in the world now. This is it. This is what a lot of us have been predicting for a long time. Why? Why were we able to see this coming? It's very simple. Silver and gold are money in and of themselves. They have been for thousands of years. Nobody can deny that fact. They are money. And silver and gold are both used in industry a lot. They're used in industry a great deal. Silver and gold are both used in industry, and they're both money. And I think Jeffrey Christian and those ones likes to separate them. Oh, no, gold is money, silver's industrial. No. They are both money and they're both industrial. They are both the same, silver and gold. What happens to one happens to the other. They're like the brothers, aren't they? Silver and gold. They are both money and they are both industrial metals. Of course, silver is used a far greater degree because it's a much better conductor of electricity, conductor of light reflectivity, thermal conductivity. Silver is better than any other element on the periodic table. Acoustic properties for sound frequency, things like that. It's the most antibacterial. It's the best catalyst, things like ethylene oxide. It's the best absorber of nuclear radiation. They need a lot of silver in every nuclear reactor. Anything nuclear uses up a lot of silver, and it becomes very high-level nuclear waste. It's thrown away. And there are many other properties. I mean, when it comes to the medical advancement now, the antibacterial, antifungal, anti-bugs, even the superbugs, antibiotic-resistant superbugs, can be killed with colloidal silver. It just shows what a miracle metal silver is. It's got amazing properties, like the magnetic properties. They needed a lot of silver for the Manhattan Project, to make the first nuclear bombs. They used loads of silver from the US Treasury. They never put it back. That's all gone. So this is why I could see it coming. Both silver and gold are money. Both silver and gold are used in industry. And we're at a point now in the 2020s, the late 2020s, when humanity is using so much silver and copper. But copper is very, very plentiful. You're not going to have the scarcity problems that silver will have. Silver's having the scarcity problems right now. This is why in Asia, they are paying $140 per ounce. So they would have had their $100 parties if they were going to be any. They were past that. The Americans are trying to say silver's still under $100, but you can't get it. You can't buy it in quantity. If anybody could buy it in quantity, 10,000 ounces at a time, it is profitable to pay for the cargo, to send it to Asia. And a lot of people have been doing this if you can get hold of the silver. And this is why there's a mass rush. There's a flood of silver going from west to east. The silver is all going to the east. All the Americans can do is stop this stupid 85 price malarkey and say, okay, silver is $140 per ounce. And then you're going to stop the bleed. You're going to stop the shortages. This is happening. On my channel, I've been predicting this for a long time. So my predictions are that it will keep going up at this rate. The world is going crazy. I'm sure everybody's noticed. All corners of the earth are going absolutely crazy with civil unrest, war, reports of wars. And it's going to get worse. And silver is the metal of war. You know, silver really is needed in all the military equipment. Silver and gold are going to go up. They're going to keep going up at the same rate they are doing. Gold will be $5,000 per ounce soon. Silver will be over $100 per ounce soon in the West. By then it might be nearer to $200 in the East. And the West is losing control of the price manipulation. So there's been a lot of talk about these $100 silver parties. We're really waiting for the Western price to officially be $100. And it will be soon. When the Americans set the price at over $100, we're going to be having the big parties. And everyone's welcome. You don't have to have invested in silver. If you just want to stand for freedom, one of the freedom fighters, you might be fighting for freedom in other ways. But there's going to be some big parties in London. David Morgan's invited me over for there's some in America. There's going to be a few in America. I think it's there's going to be some in New York and in Washington. I'm not going to be going over for that, but I'm heavily involved in the organising of the ones in London. The one big $100 silver party. Maybe it'll be February. It might even be this month. But I don't think we're quite ready yet. But we've got the venue. We've got everything sorted. Email me if you're interested in coming. It's going to be free to attend. I'm going to get the first round in. And we're going to be celebrating silver over 100. And then we'll all be talking about what comes next. Now, I've invited some big people, but whether they will come over, I've invited Chris Dwayne. I've interviewed Chris Dwayne on my channel. I'm often talking to Chris Dwayne. I would love it if he comes over to some of the $100 silver parties in London, but he's heavily involved in the ones in America. But you are welcome. Email me to find out all the details. When will silver go over $100? It could be the next couple of days. It really could. The Western price has to go over $100. What happens next? Well, I think then it should go to several $1,000s per ounce. That's what it should do. But of course, they're going to shut down markets. They're going to force majeure. They're going to come out with... There might be some false flag attack to hide this problem of the silver. It might be they say the underwater cables are cut, like John Perez has been predicting, or cyber attack, cyber storm, massive internet outage, something like that. It could be along those lines because of silver. It's all to do with silver. Silver is what it's all about. You know, Trump going after Greenland is all about the minerals, like silver. And that's really what Ukraine is, a lot of it is about, the wealth in the ground. And the Middle East and Venezuela and all the other problems. That is really what it's about. And that is what China's about. China's about silver. China and Taiwan, the microchips. Silver is so used in all technology. So the main theme of my channel, in conclusion, is that both gold and silver are money in and of themselves. You cannot deny that fact. They are. They have been and they always will be. And they are right now. Gold and silver are money in and of themselves. Gold and silver are also essential industrial elements, metals. They're both used in industry. Gold is always recovered, pretty much always recovered, because it is economic to do so. So 98 or 99% of all gold ever mined in history is still in available supply. Silver is not economic to retrieve, and for decades it's just been trashed away far too cheap because of the criminal manipulation. It's not been recovered, and now 98 or 99% of all silver ever mined in history is no longer in available supply. Only about 1% of all the silver mined through history is still in available supply. Whereas only 1% of all the gold is no longer in available supply. It might have been lost in shipwrecks, buried and forgotten about, or used in industry and not yet recovered, which it could be because it is economic to do so. So my predictions are, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is just the start. Kiki, come on this way. Good girl. Come on, Kiki. This is just the start. It's not too late. For those people, if you look at a chart and you say, oh my word, silver shot up to $85. I've missed it. Don't buy anything at an all-time high. I know that is good advice, generally speaking. Don't buy anything at an all-time high. But not in this case. Trust me. Mark my words. The shortages are severe. Demand is greater than supply for silver. That will continue to push the price up. I think there's going to be some real craziness around the world, but you haven't missed the boat. Still buy physical silver. Do not listen to one of the trolls from the Mind of Steel group. He says, don't buy physical. He said, Dave's doing it, but the most foolish way. I forgot what childish words he used, but he said, don't buy physical silver. He said buy ETFs and things. I don't know why he's it's absolute nonsense. Do not listen to people like that. There's a mad rush out of paper and digital promises of silver, and you've got to get into real. The shortages are for real silver. There's no shortage of ETFs or paper or digital promises of silver. There's no shortage. And just finally, there's a lot of talk about how much is the short position in the world. How much have the big banks got? There's what's reported on the COMEX. There's that short position, and who's got it, we don't know. But JP Morgan has somehow handed it off to other people, the big bullion banks, something to do with the Epstein blackmail and all the things that went on there. JP Morgan was Epstein's banker. They handled all the billions. So they're a lot to do with Epstein and the blackmail. So maybe that's how they handed off the short position. So there's all those banks owe all that silver. They've sold silver. They've got to go and buy it just at the time when there's extreme shortages. And then there's all the big entities like the Perth Mint and all the other big mints who have been selling paper and digital promises of silver. And they sold most of them at $20, $30, $40. And they've sold all this silver, and they took in all the investors' funds, gave a digital receipt. Now it's $85, and the investors want that silver. And they say, sorry, we're going to have to settle in like fiat currency. No, the investors do not want the fiat currency. They want the silver. But they probably will have to just settle in fiat currency to start with, and then go and get on a waiting list to buy physical silver. There's a mania on for physical silver. There's a mad rush to sell any paper or digital promise, any ETFs or anything where you can't touch the silver bars yourself. You want to sell that now and try and get physical. It's only going to get harder. Every day that passes, it's going to get more expensive and more difficult to buy physical silver. Even if the spot price goes down a bit, there's dips along the way. It doesn't make the real price any easier to get. All the dealers are really struggling to refill. They're all saying sold out, sold out, sold out. But don't give up. It's not too late. It is not too late to buy physical. This is still cheap. This is very, very cheap. Silver is undervalued. Keep buying. I'm not stopping buying. I'm going to keep taking real silver out of available supply. Drain them even more. End the manipulation. Stop the cunning men trashing away this precious, finite resource. They're just trashing it away like plastic. We want to end that. Let's drain the beast.